Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah. Young, black, and gifted. We do it for the culture. Every podcast we help bring our people closer. Tired of being underrated, you can ask Jazz. This beat got horsepower like it's polo on a tag. Aquan, let them know it's every Tuesday and Friday. He said it wasn't possible like Twista and Kanye. Renegon, I've been seen it happen like Sasuke. Love is stronger than pride and it's the close to the side A. 12 midnight, I'm still smoking in the driveway. This ain't for the kids, go to Chucky for the child's play. We all gon' burn like Pompeii. Until then, you should grab your seat and come and tune in. What?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the Young Black and Gifted podcast, and I am your host, Underrated. And today, I know I say this a lot, but today we have a special guest. You can see it right there. For the people listening on Apple Podcasts, we gonna get to that. I got a special guest here, man. This is somebody who I've been a fan of their work, their efforts, their style, just the way that they go about life, man. And I've been lucky enough, I'll say, blessed enough to be able to have a sit down with him and talk to him about a few things, man. But without further ado, my guest, OCK the Wizard. How you doing, brother?
Yes, what's up? I'm doing good. Fresh off work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So first off, man, thank you for coming. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you hitting me up, dog. I like this. It's cool. It's
yes, sir.
Up here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. So I got a few things that I want to talk to you about, and we can get right into it, man. Any questions, comments, concerns, or you ready to get right into it?
Oh, no, I'm ready.
My man, I like that. So let me just pull up my joint right here. I'm sorry, I should have had this up there. Okay.
No, you good.
So the first thing I want to talk about, y'all, is before we get into the questions, I just want to point out the fact that the painting to his right or to his left, but to our right, yes, it's a piece that I was again blessed enough to be able to get off of him.
He won that joint. He put out the bread and won it.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, and it was and that was like one of my main reasons. Shout out to E Shields over there at Yams. I reached out to him. I let him know. I said, listen, that did y'all get off that OCK piece yet? He said, no, that joint's still up. I said, listen, I need that joint, bro.
Hell yeah.
So as you can see, at one point it was a part of just the space and where I live, but since then I've made it a part of the set here on the Young Black and Gifted podcast. So I want to tell you, E, I don't know if you first off just tell me a little bit about the picture. Like, is it something that you drew up in your mind? Is it a portrait? What's going on in there?
So all right, so it is a portrait, right? But it's a photography portrait. So what I do is I'm a photographer too as well.
Okay.
So I hit up the actress, hit her up. I was like, yo, we trying to have a shoot. I need some subject photos.
Okay.
For anything, because sometimes with stuff like that, especially like them live paintings, it's better to have a reference because from there you can kind of start and just go wherever you want to go. So sometimes it's having people's portraits, people full body shots, stuff like that. Just having that in the tuck, it just makes it a little bit more easier for me just to go out somewhere and create somewhere on the fly. So we had a shoot. This show was supposed to be a little ethereal. So we had different garbs, flowers and stuff like that, threw it on her, set the scene up a little bit, threw some lighting on there, and this just the black and white version, but the color version, it's a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, it was something. I wasn't sure. So the day of the event that I ran into you at, I wasn't sure. That was outside of at the time we had just began the podcast and we wanted to use it for what do you call it? Networking for us, kind of get our names and faces out there. My main reason for wanting to be there was because I knew you would be there. So it was definitely important to me that I have that. When I saw the opportunity was there, I definitely wanted to make sure I gave myself the opportunity to be able to come home with that. So let me ask you this: did you, for this painting in particular, and for any other paintings, do you name them?
Oh, nah.
Don't? Okay, so that's great because I got a name for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep this painting with me, bro.
Yo.
So
you know what? I'm going to start letting the people name them themselves.
Okay.
I never even thought of that shit.
Okay. so the name that I gave it, because is by you, but it ultimately ended up being my painting.
Yeah.
Is Mother of God.
Okay, I love it. Damn,
Yeah.
I love it, dog. Yeah. Yeah, I'm letting people name. Yeah, I ain't naming no more shit, dog. Y'all got
That's
it.
fire. That's fire. So that's just my thing, and Maybe we could talk a little bit about that a little bit further down. I want to obviously I want to get into these questions, but maybe we could talk a little bit about like how some of the I guess some of the ins and outs of being an artist and how that is.
Yeah.
We could get into that, but I when I look at this painting and really you as an artist, I think that even though I got it for how I got it, I feel like at some point in time these things will gain some type of worth to them. You know what I'm saying?
I'm praying and hoping, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
we gonna
working.
get to
I'm
that.
working towards that. I'm working towards it.
Yeah, we gonna get to that.
Yeah.
And I don't know many artists. I know a few of them. I don't know many of them, but you're probably one of the ones that takes their craft pretty damn serious.
Nah, I
When I say
appreciate that,
serious,
yeah.
I know that you just you got it's what you do, but what I mean by serious is something there. If it's clearly something there for me to from the outside perspective to be able to see it and
Yeah.
then say, you know what, I need that. So not everybody got that. There's a lot of artists out here, but not everybody got that.
I
that
appreciate that, man.
that oomph. So my first question for you is, excuse me, I gotta open up the phone. Another thing, one of the other things outside of you being from, outside of you being an artist is that we do know each other for a while. We grew up in the same
Yes,
neighborhood.
sir. Yes, sir.
So I just want to ask, right? Growing up in Darby, were there any programs in or out of school that encourage art or encouraged you to get into art?
So my first initial like answer to that is like no,
Okay.
but at the same time, I guess like going into detail about it, thinking about more. There was programs like like foundations, after school programs and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
within that program, it was art programs.
Yes.
It was like a little comic book club, like every Fridays and stuff like that. You meet up, pay some stuff, draw some stuff,
Hmm.
and then like you go home like after homework.
Yes.
So like it wasn't like no specific program,
Hmm.
but it was programs within programs. Like it was activities within programs
Okay.
that kind of like it wanted to nurture the art side of kids
Yes.
and stuff like that. Then like summer programs, so it was always like a drama drawn stuff like that,
Okay.
art and drama and
Yeah.
camp and stuff like that.
That's
So
fire. Yeah.
I guess it was, but it wasn't really like
Would it be the program? Were those programs were they part of the reason that you got into it, or was it another thing or something else that brought you to like the art?
nah, I couldn't tell you what brought me to art, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
But those programs, they nurtured it.
Okay.
They nurtured that joint.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire. Um. So let me ask you this: at what point for you, whether we talking about in your life, at what point did it become evident that this is something that you would?
That I want to do.
Yeah. At what point was that for you?
So I did have a point like that. I think that was probably like my early 20s. Like I was probably like 22, 23. Just got the military, just came back up here and shit like that.
Yeah.
Fucking I had this trash ass job. And that shit was trash, bro. They was paying me guap, but that shit was terrible, dog. I was
Yeah.
like a crane operator
Okay.
for like some freezer.
Yeah.
Right? So I was in that joint like 2 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
That shit wasn't working. I was in there going sing, drinking all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And then my homie Bobo, shout out to my nigga Bobo.
Yeah.
Me and him kind of like bet each other like, yo, like, I bet you can't get no bread off of this art shit by the end of the month. Oh, nah, I bet I can.
Yeah.
So it was like that
Oh, that's
started
fire.
that started that shit. Then I had add to my paintings down like a Rittenhouse, right? So I'm down Rittenhouse.
Okay.
And this regular dude, he was a manager, a chemist, right? Chemist, he's a
Mm.
rapper in Philly.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
yeah. So he was like, yo, you do album covers. And at the time I was like, well, nah, I don't. But like, what's up? Like, I'm pretty sure I can figure that shit out.
Mhm.
I had my artwork out there, and he was like, yeah, I like this painting. It's a good vibe. I think it'd be good for an album cover. So I was like, all right, word, let me go back to the crib, take some pictures, and see if I can like edit it up in Photoshop, send it to you.
Mhm.
Did that shit, sent it to him. Lo and behold, his the manager, his wife, was like the head president for like Jill Scott's nonprofit.
Mm.
So she had seen the album cover and was like, oh, like he in the city? Hit me up, went up there and started interning for them and stuff like that. Started getting a little bread here and there. But once I had made that first album cover and I had got invited to like a panel discussion,
Mhm.
it was like, oh nah, like I'm doing this. Cause it was like, it was easy. It was like just like how you said, like, oh, like I'll be working. And so I gotta have that.
Yeah.
Same thing for me. Like it came out easy. So it was like, oh, all right, I gotta keep
Yes.
doing this shit.
Yes.
Cause if I don't keep doing this, I'm gonna be that bitch ass job. I ain't trying to be there. Like,
I know that feeling.
yeah, so I was like, man,
Yes.
fuck them. So
Mhm.
left that job, went hard in art for like a year and a half.
Mhm.
I got like another little side gig, and just kept putting art in like the forefront, dog. Just like kept going hard with that, staying up all night, waking up in the morning, going down like first Fridays back and forth,
Mhm.
like up north and shit like that, just trying to get some bread. So
That's fire.
yeah,
And I mean, even in terms of you know, whatever I guess we could call it a passion for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah,
But something that you enjoy doing, right? I think that's what's going to come along with it. You have to that grind, like you said, you had a good paying job, but it didn't resonate.
That shit wasn't me.
So that I think that's part of some of the obstacles that we face, even here with the podcast, is you know you enjoy doing something, so you gotta hustle, you gotta put that work in. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope that you found something for yourself outside of what you was doing ultimately at that point in time that you enjoy, because that's important too. People will live their whole life
miserable, dog, hating, dog, working just to die and shit like that. It's like shit.
I talk about it all the time, man, and it's just not something that I plan on doing. So, so this thing right here, this is something that I picked up just from following you on social media.
Okay,
through the years, right? So what was the motivation for your vow of silence you took several years back?
Oh shit. So I had a homie pass, right?
Okay.
It was real, like, you know, unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like what fucked me up. I think his death was like the first non-violent death. Just being like a young man. Like he just like died like a heart attack, you know, cardiac arrest, asthma attack, all that. So that shit was like fucked up. It was fucked up because I was like, damn, like, you know, I'm used to like, you know, gun violence, shit like that. And I know like somebody my age, like heart attack, passing out, dying. It's like, what the fuck? So thinking about that had me feeling like, all right, because he was, you know, when you die, like, you know, can't nobody talk to you.
Yeah.
You can't hear nobody, you can't hear no response back. You can talk to them, but like, you're not gonna hear nothing back. But you might see a sign. You might see like, you know, like a tree move, a bird come by, this and the third. So that had me thinking like, damn, like, you know, I wasn't trying to be like that, but I was feeling for that.
Yes,
like I was like, you know, just feeling like those emotions and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, you know, if I do on like a vow of silence, how would people contact me? How would they communicate with me? And then even with that, how would I communicate back to them? So that had like jump started, like, you know, I was gonna do it for like, I think like 2 weeks.
Okay.
First week, right? It was on some shit where it was like, however was I speaking? Like, you know, how was I communicating shit? Because my homie Fred had said it. He was like, yo, Silent Ock is dope because you just be dancing out of nowhere. And like, I noticed that shit because I just like, I'll be listening to music all day because it was like, I couldn't talk, couldn't like, you know, interact really with nobody. I had a dog and shit. So like, oh, he got lit to like, you know, me just looking at him and stuff like that. So that shit was dope. But like, just like, you know, expressing, looking at people, giving them a look, the silence, they ask you a question, it's like, you like this. You're like, oh, all right, yeah, I ain't fucking with that. Yeah, you right. Yeah, I don't really gotta say much because like, everybody get it. But like, just that point in time, like I was saying, it went from 2 weeks. I think I did it for like 60 days.
Okay.
Yeah, and that shit was like, you know, manifesting was a challenge. I had learned that, like, you know, we all talk about manifestation. We all talk about, like, you know, put thoughts out in the air, like this, that, third, whatever spirituality you want to believe. But speaking is the most easiest fucking form of manifesting anything, my nigga. Yo, I had learned that shit. It was like you tell somebody no, tell somebody give me that, it's gonna happen.
Yes, sir.
So it was like I had to figure out how to get money, how to like meet people in public that never seen me before, how to like tell them like, you know, like, oh, I ain't talking, but you can reach me here, you hit me up on here. People calling me, like, you know, I'm answering and just be silent and shit. I'm hitting buttons like do. You know, go ahead and talk. I'ma listen. And like, you know, if it's important, I'm gonna text back. So it'll be times people like, I had a girl at the time, she would just call me and just be talking. just be busting it up with me, dog. Hey, I ain't saying shit. And like that time, like our relationship was great at the time because like I guess you know, like she felt like I listened the most, and I just felt like, you know, she was talking the most because I ain't had nothing to say. So she would just call, I just be on the phone. I would just sit there, whatever fuck she had, I was all right. And then when she was done, all right, well, you know, I'm about to be my way over. You know, I'll call you back. And then when she got there, that's when we busted up and chill.
That's crazy.
So it was like, yeah, it was deep, man.
So outside of that, like I know you say like with your girl and being around your homies and your friends, like was it challenging or was the adaptation to it was it pretty simple? Like how was that for you? Like adapting to it?
It was simple. I feel like the people that know her, that didn't know me, they catered to me. Okay. Like I'm at the store, I ain't talking. I put my phone out and just start typing.
Okay.
They went shopping for me, bro. I ain't had to do shit. They walked me down the aisles like, yeah, you get this, get that. I'm just like, hey, bro, like I can talk, but you want to do it? All right, yeah, we in there. So that shit was lit.
I'm getting a kick out of it.
Yo, bro, I ain't
that's
going
too
front.
funny.
That shit was lit. Go to the stores was lit. Then they be like, I felt like they was doing something. I'm like, nigga, that's your job, nigga. Like you supposed to be helping me out. I asked you, I'm asking you a question. So like that was cool.
Okay.
I did like it was challenging with my parents.
Okay.
I will say that. Cause with challenging my parents and my brother, because my brother was getting married at the time.
Okay.
And you know, that's a big change for him. So he just wanted to talk to his little brother. And he had said that shit. That made me feel like, damn, like, all right, that's a little different. So I kind of had to figure that out. And basically, like, it was just like, just give him my undivided attention. Just like he didn't live there at the time, so it was like we talking on the phone. So then we did come up. It was like, oh nah, bro, we sitting down, we playing a video game, we doing something. You gonna vent? I'm gonna hear this shit, and I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna give you some looks. We gonna figure it out. I'm gonna write something down. But like that was more interesting. And then my mom, she was just my mom, like she taught me how to talk. So it's like, she had time for that. Yeah. So like that's how it was. Like she really had no time for that shit. So like that was cool. But like. Yeah, it was cool because I felt like she was frustrated. Yeah. But then she respected me. So it was like, it is what it was. Like,
That's pretty dope, man, that you stuck with it. Like even to have to face some obstacles and still stick with it and figure out ways to navigate because of the purpose and why you chose to do it, man. So salute to you for that.
I appreciate
that's
that,
dope,
man. Nah.
So I want to ask you, man, like because obviously through that, even with the vowel silence and obviously the photography, and we talk about art, you said drama. Yeah. I want to ask you, was self-expression always a passion of yours, or was it a characteristic you developed?
That's deep. I'm gonna say a passion, because a characteristic is like, you probably didn't used to be an artist. But like, your character, like you kind of fell into it.
Yes, sir.
And then you took a hold of it and made something of yourself.
Yes, sir.
Passion is kind of like, I'm still gonna be painting somewhere in some dirt on an island somewhere. Like
I see you do it, and that's probably one of the things that I truly can appreciate about you is that you don't do it even with the vowel silence. Like
it's not
social media. You wasn't doing it for social media. That's what I wanted to say. You were dealing with your real everyday life.
Just trying to process shit. Like
that's fire.
That's all that is.
That's fire, man. That's dope. Let me ask you this: do people recognize you from your street art, and how do you decide where to post your work?
So I do get recognized from the street art, which is funny. More people who are not black recognize me. So I find that funny. But as far as like where I put it, it's like whatever got the most like foot traffic, especially like when I'm just like spray painting. When I spray paint, it's anywhere. But whatever got the most foot traffic, I'm gonna put that we posted up there. It was my homie, he DJ. He had a party at Trilogy day before. Put that shit right in front of Trilogy, dog. Just cause like I knew my folk gonna be there, and I knew his folk gonna be there. So it's like I do it like that. It's really is strategic.
Okay.
As far as like Made in American coming up. So I'm gonna fuck the Parkway up when that shit happen. like my face gonna be all up and down that joint. They're gonna come take my shit down.
They gonna know you.
They're gonna come take my shit down. Like I'm gonna get like a cease and desist. Yeah. So it's like stuff like that. Like I think about it, and it's like, oh, all right, now I'm gonna fuck that joint up, and like that's how it is. Yeah.
So you said most people that notice you aren't black.
Yeah.
So would you accredit that to So you talk about art. Like I don't. For me, from my perspective, I don't know. You could tell me. You could help give me clarity, right? That maybe the appreciation for art isn't there within the community. Do you think it has something to do with that, or if it's something else, what do you think it is?
I couldn't tell you what it is.
Okay.
But I noticed that's what maybe like black. It's our people. It's our folk.
Yes, sir.
They don't feel the need to come up and tell us like, oh, bro, I seen your face somewhere. And like, I ain't mad at it.
No. Yeah. You just talked about that on the last episode. So yeah.
Yeah. Like I ain't really mad at it. It's on your prerogative and stuff like that. But like we not more like up front and
Yes, sir.
straightforward with
Yes,
like, yo,
sir.
I seen you on the billboard, da 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 da.
Yeah.
That shit was dope.
Yeah.
We
Well,
more
because
like,
that's more like a them thing.
yeah,
They
yeah,
call it, I'm
yeah,
gonna say,
yeah.
they call it Dickie.
Diggy, yeah,
Yeah.
right? Like, we got a problem with that. Like, you deatin' ass nigga, like,
We
what,
just
nigga?
talked about that. We just talked about it on the last interview.
I just said that shit was dope. Like, what you mean? And then it's like the opposite sometimes. I just said I ain't like it. That don't mean I'm hating, nigga. I just,
Right.
like, if I don't like it, I don't like it.
Right.
So it's like, with us, we never in the middle. It's like extreme. We either
Mhm.
hot or we cold.
Mhm.
We never lukewarm. And then, like, maybe lukewarm is a bad thing.
Mhm.
But, like, I don't know. But, Asian folk, white folk,
Love it.
at the job, they see me, oh my God, I seen you, da 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 da.
That's fire.
Then it was like, I had walked into a gallery, drop a painting off.
Okay.
And I was, hey, my name's OCK. White lady. Oh my God. I see your face on Ridge Ave all the time. And it was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
fire.
stuff like that is like, oh, all right, it's working.
Yeah.
So it's like I like to hear it, and like I like to hear like, oh, I seen your face,
Mhm.
because that's the point. Like I want people to like, you walking. I want you to see, oh, that's an artist. Oh, that's OCK the Wizard. I know that motherfucker. He paint. He create. So
That's
I want that to be known, just like from strangers to me. Like I don't care.
Mm.
So
That's fire.
yeah.
When are you your most creative? When do you feel as though you at the peak of
Oh,
your
shit.
creativity?
When I'm most depressed, my nigga. When I'm the most hurt, like that shit. And probably when I'm the most broke. Like those three things, firework, my nigga. Fire.
Damn.
Let me be broke and depressed. I'll probably make a beat
Yeah.
video. the beat I put in my Instagram video of me painting is the beat I probably made.
That's crazy.
It's probably shit like this. Yo,
I
it
didn't know
be
you
like
make
that.
beats too.
Oh hell yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
Hell
fire.
yeah,
That's fire.
yeah.
So I when you speak about that, right? I think in those times of those kinds of emotions that aren't always joyous,
Yes.
whatever it is, whether it's depression, whether
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
anger,
yeah.
hurt, whatever it is, right? I think it's important for us, especially as black men,
Yes.
to
Yo.
find ways to express ourselves.
Yeah, man.
So when you say that, that makes perfect sense. That
Yeah.
you've damn near mastered, if you haven't mastered, a way to express yourself to where as though, because if you look out in you see you out in the city, you see what's going on
Oh,
out
yo,
there.
yeah.
They don't know how to express themselves.
You got, and I ain't mad at it because that's exactly what it is. You
Mhm.
don't know how to express yourself. You ain't been taught how to express yourself.
Mhm.
And then as you get older on some real shit, just like how I was saying, like when I'm depressed, broke, or like, just like going through some stuff, I'm trying to understand those emotions. I'm still processing that shit. So if I don't take time to like, for myself and do something to actually think about that stuff, I ain't gonna process that shit. I ain't gonna know why I'm mad. And when I get mad again, it's gonna keep happening. It's like a cycle. So I gotta understand, like, oh, why am I mad? Oh, because she ain't text me back. Like it's all right. You mad because ain't nobody text you back? You gotta
Yeah.
get your shit together, nigga.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like so
Nah,
now
it's
I'm talking
fire.
to myself. Now I'm getting myself like, all right, yo, she got her own life. Now I can't be mad because ain't nobody texting me back. So it's like I gotta go through that, to process that. So the next time that happen, I'm good. Like
That's fire.
I didn't already figured that out.
It's fire.
I'm just salty,
Yeah,
and that's it. Like
yeah,
that's
it
it.
happened. It happened. It happened
Right,
to the
yeah.
best of them. So I want to ask you this, man. How important are showcases and live events? Excuse me. How important are showcases and live events to a visual artist's career?
Oh man, important as hell. I don't know how important,
Mm-hmm.
but I can tell you important as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out like how to, I guess, find that balance, or actually find that that I don't know. I don't want to say motivation, but find that wave
Okay.
of just consistently like showcasing, consistently out there,
Mm-hmm.
and then also at the same time consistently working, consistently producing.
Mm-hmm.
Because with me, sometimes I'll like I'm doing digital work.
Okay.
I have like physical work and then digital work,
Okay.
and either or depending on the money, is more digital work versus physical work. So it'll be a time I'm doing nothing but like photography, film, a little like creative consultation here and there,
Okay.
and I ain't really create no work, but I got a showcase coming up. But I got old work, so I'm showing old work there. So it's like I'm trying to find that balance of like continually showing new work when I go out to these live joints
Mm-hmm.
and not having the same stuff all the time. Cause like they keep seeing. I don't know. I feel like as artists, they keep seeing one thing. You a one trick pony. You gotta like, and then motherfuckers like, oh, it's the same piece last time. You ain't sell that joint yet. So
Got
it's
you,
like
got
you
you,
gotta
got you,
like
got you,
keep
got
that
you,
door
yeah.
revolving.
Do you think? So when you say that, right? So what I want to ask, like, because I'm listening to what you say, and I'm glad that you are involved in music. So I want to ask, like, is the path of an artist, like a painter artist, is it similar to like a music artist? Like, is it similar, or is it like what would be like the difference in that? Because I'm trying to like understand.
No, I think the difference is only the craft.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
like, you got a rapper, a poet,
Mm-hmm.
a dancer, an
Mm-hmm.
artist, visual artist. It's all I'm working for me. I'm taking here,
Mm-hmm.
putting it out there, and hopefully I can get some money from it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all it's all the same will, it's all the same idea, it's all the same work pattern. But like what you're doing and how you're doing is a little bit different. How your network is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
As an artist, I could probably get away with not being out there as much as a musical artist.
Mm-hmm.
But because like, I can just like, I can be that little quiet artist
Mm-hmm.
and just make some dope shit and motherfuckers go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can be like, like a Basquiat out at the club every night,
Mm-hmm.
then go home, knock out some shit. And it's like, damn, nigga, we had time to do that. So it's like I can play that line.
Mm-hmm.
As a musician nowadays, you can pop online, you can pop through Spotify, but if you really trying to get out there, you gotta have stage presence. So
Yes.
you gotta practice that.
There
You gotta like do different stuff and stuff like you gotta be a little bit more I ain't gonna say friendly, but a little bit more social.
Okay.
I really do feel as though I can get away with the antisocial shit with the artist shit.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like it just adds to the character.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Do something different. Road
Right.
less travel. I like that.
Yeah. You can get away with it. But certain crafts, I feel like, you gotta be a little bit more networking, less networking.
Okay.
A little more out in the lab, a little less out in the lab.
Mhm.
It all depends and stuff like that. But I feel like it's all the same thing. The work is a little bit different.
Mhm.
Not to sound like, we all cooking, but I'm making hamburgers and making hot dogs.
Yeah. So I want to ask, right? So for just as an example, right? I know that the music game is a little different today.
Mhm.
So let's just say, what would be the equivalent for an artist with getting signed for a visual artist? What would be the equivalent of getting signed? Like as a rapper getting signed, what would be the equivalent of that for a visual artist?
All right, so I feel like it changed as my career changed.
Okay.
So when I first came out, I was doing like a lot of like flyers and stuff like that.
Okay.
If I would have got picked up by an ad agency,
Mm.
I feel like I would have made it.
Okay.
like my ads is everywhere. Fuck that. Like I made it.
Okay.
But getting and working freelance for an ad agency, that kind of like the goal went a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like for a musician, they'll get signed
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be, oh, all right, I just got signed. And then the next step, like I want to make it. I gotta have my own label.
Yes.
So it's like I don't know what the equivalent is, but I know the markers. I guess like I don't know how to call them like that.
Mm-hmm.
The check marks is
Yes.
the same.
Okay.
You're gonna do something, and then it's like, oh, all right, that's
Okay.
that's not the ceiling. This the ceiling.
Mm.
So I guess in all honesty, for me now
Mhm.
as an artist, how I know I made it, the equivalent of like like getting a Grammy or something like that, like another musician, is if I can like literally make paintings and travel and just have my art really just fund that. I can live, I can pay my bills, I can afford to like, go do a collective over in like Cali, do a collective in Bali, and then come back and do something in Canada all in like the same season. And have that drawing being funded. Then also like, putting some bread off to the side. Like, just being like having a good well-being and just being like me, just creating and just getting some bread, making like, six figures one year, 7 figures next year. And have that drawing flop back and forth.
Yeah,
Like shit like
you,
that.
That's fine. So would you say like for artists, even some of your peers, would you say that the idea, whatever success is subjective?
Definitely is subjective.
Got you.
Cause I know some artist homies now. I'm like, yo, nigga, you made it.
Yeah.
like, bro, they had your article in Wall Street Journal and shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's fire.
Oh, one of my homies, Wall Street Journal, GQ,
Oh, that's
all
fire.
that shit. Yeah, he
So
lit.
it's a matter of time, man.
It's always a matter of time. Yeah.
You put, not only are you putting the work in, you expose what that looks like. You know what I mean? You have an idea of what you want. You know what I mean? It in a matter of time, man.
I appreciate that shit.
So my next question for you is, when it comes to photography and your portrait work, does the vision come to you does the vision come to you when you find a person, or do you see the person and receive the vision?
The person in the vision.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely is a person in the vision. I may see a chick like her face.
Yeah.
And I just like her face.
Yeah.
So we start like, taking photos and photography and stuff like that. I go edit them. I'm like, oh nah, this joint's sick.
Fire. Yeah.
This joint dope. Yeah.
What I wanted to ask, it slipped my mind, but it just hit me. It just came back to me. I wanted to ask about whether you want to reference photography and or your paintings. I wanted to ask, I think I wanted to ask, like, what would you consider to be your best work in those areas? Like, do you have like any creations that are your favorite and you feel like, yo, this is probably my best? Like, is it anything of that nature? And also I want to ask, like, so mainly directed towards paintings, have you ever created anything that you don't want to let go? Like you don't want to sell?
I don't know, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Cause if I sell it, I can make it again.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
that's how I be
Okay.
feeling. Like, yeah.
Okay.
And if it was that good, and I can't make it again, then it was that good, and I can't make it again.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
like whoever bought that joint, they lit.
They can have it. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's lit.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So we have. I got a few talking points here. These aren't necessarily questions, but just a few like ideologies and topics that I want to get your insight on. If that's cool. All right. So talk to me a little bit about the art community in Philadelphia. And do you feel receptive? And do you feel as though you guys are supportive of one another?
Oh shit. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
We support one another.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't supporting we ain't physically supporting one another.
Okay.
I will say that.
Okay.
We digitally support one another.
Okay. Like repost.
Reposting, liking, commenting,
But
stuff
the
like
money
that.
not circulating. That's the
Oh shit, right?
Yeah.
We ain't circling no money. I will say that. And now I gotta start doing that more.
Okay.
I feel like we are, but I feel like I've definitely circled somebody with some musicians way better.
Yes.
With fellow artists. I've to give an artist like a reference, here and there, that's cool. But as far as playing with the same $50,
Yeah.
I've done that with musicians a lot. On some real shit. Like you do something like you do their photography work,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, all right, I need you to come DJ.
Mm-hmm.
That's $150. We didn't toss back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
We probably gonna do that for the whole summer.
Mm-hmm. So talk to me a little bit about this. Is something that I've noticed about like I've seen it a lot from you and a few maybe even your homies on social media that I follow. Bake Jam. What is that and how did that come about?
Oh, so Bake Jam is I guess it's my child. That's like my little blog and
Okay.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So Bake Jam, what we're a group of curators that try to put local arts, economy, and just people just trying to make some money.
Yes, sir.
The creators,
Mhm.
whatever it is, wherever you at, as far as neighborhood and stuff like that, we try to put them on, give them a showcase, something to do, and just give them a promotion, digitally or in person and physically.
Mm-hmm.
How Bake Jam started, like I was saying, I worked at Jill Scott's nonprofit Blue Babes.
Okay.
We was there, and that year 420 was on a Saturday. Right?
Okay.
So I had asked, the director and he was my he was my mentor at the time.
Okay.
I was like, yo, can we have an event here and stuff like that for 420?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lying. I gotta hit myself. Probably like a month before in March, I was like, yo, can we have an event here?
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of squashed it, right? Because I smoke weed, and it was like, oh nah, we don't want y'all smoking in here. It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
And like me, I'm very vocal. If I'm gonna smoke, I'm gonna smoke.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
My friends gonna smoke, we all gonna smoke.
Yeah.
We gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
So they kind of squashed it. Oh, nah, we can't. The event y'all want, we don't think we can have for y'all.
Got you.
All right, cool. Next month came around. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna mention none of this shit. I'm just gonna say, yo, can we have a jam session on Saturday from 10 to 1 o'clock or something like that, like a morning joint.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, we have musicians come out, they gonna play, and then the director, she was gonna be out the building at that time because they had another event downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, it's gonna be perfect. She's not gonna be here. We can talk and all that shit, have a good time. So I had told them, they was like, yo, what day you wanna have it on?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't tell them the day, I just said Saturday.
Okay.
So next Saturday, had the event, came down there, blew that joint down, had a good ass time. Fucking, we had went out, bought all these donuts because it was
I see that's part of the logo. Yeah,
right, it's part of the logo. So
Yeah.
the eating the donuts came first,
Okay.
and then the donut for the logo came after I had a connection with a bakery.
Okay.
I was like, yo, if I give y'all $40, how many donuts we can get?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we got you to fucking give me a whole 3 boxes of them joints.
Oh wow.
Couldn't eat all of them
Yeah.
first time and shit.
Yeah.
So fucking that joint was lit. Had a donut, used that on there. My mentor came back and was like, yo, it smell like weird. And I was like, yeah, it's 420. And he just looked at me and was like, I like how you did that, man. I like how you did that. You didn't even tell me. I was like, yo, I had to do it. I had to keep it on the low.
I mean,
yo.
and ultimately, I mean, you did it, but ultimately, you did it under the radar too. So
Yeah, it had to be under the radar.
Yeah, that's
So,
fire.
That was probably 5-6 years ago, and ever since then,
Okay.
we just trying to keep it consistent, just trying to
Yeah.
keep it up. Every now and then do an event,
Yeah.
do a little jam here or there. kickball game.
I seen that too, the kickball
Yeah.
game. Okay. So, live. So when you say artists, I know. So obviously we have visual artists there. Are there any live artists like instrumentalists, like people that play instruments that come through?
Yeah. So we had the jams and stuff like that. We got drums, keys,
Oh, that's
guitars,
fire.
bass, a DJ and stuff like that
Oh, that's
spinning.
fire.
Yeah, it'd be a time. It'd be a good time.
I pull up on
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
them Jones,
definitely,
man.
yeah.
I don't smoke, but I just gotta come through and catch a
Oh,
vibe.
catch a vibe. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be
sure.
other vendors there. It'd be drinks and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that's fire. That's fire. So this is I'm sorry. Okay, so this is pretty much my last segment. As far as what we got written down here, and it's just a few names of artists, and I'm gonna just say them out to you, and you can just
Okay.
give me the first thing that comes to mind when you think of these artists, or just if they're whatever their meaning to you is, however that goes for you, right? Just tell me the first thing that comes to you, right? Excuse me. The first name I have for you is Warhol.
Oh shit. Culture fucking vulture, dog.
Oh,
That guy.
let me know. See, I don't know.
Yeah,
Tell
that
me
guy,
about it.
that
What he
guy.
do?
He was I ain't gonna say he was washed
Okay.
in the 70s and the 80s, but he was on his decline. Like, as careers go,
Mhm.
you hit your peak and then you plateau, then sometimes you gotta find something else. So what he had found was Basquiat. And I feel like he kind of like, breathed like some good air in his shit. Cause like, Warhol was just dropping like, the same stuff, the same cookie cutter stuff.
Okay.
And Basquiat would just come and like,
Is his work the one? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to try to describe it. Maybe you could reference me some of his work. So I can see it.
so if you ever see like the four faces in different colors,
Okay.
that's
Yes.
Warhol. Yeah,
Yes.
like
Okay.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yes. Yes.
The
Yes.
picture, just the Campbell soup can.
Okay. Yeah.
That's Warhol.
Oh, okay. All
Right?
right.
See, now you see like, now you
yeah.
like the work, like it was real basic shit. Until like
He was making money off of that.
Oh, making guap, dog, making guap.
Sheesh.
So like that shit. So at the time, like and he was like a socialite.
Okay.
He had like a studio. People was coming to the studio partying.
Okay.
Studio like 66, whatever that shit is. Like he was really hyped with that. I mean, drugs, all that.
Is that the one? I think they might got a movie about that joint right there.
Studio
Studio.
66, yeah.
I think so.
It
Yeah.
was like some joint in like New York.
Okay. Yeah.
But he
I
was
think so.
always there and stuff like that.
Yeah,
He parties at his art spot, like all that.
Okay.
So he got famous through that. He was like, he had good art, but he was almost like more famous for being famous. Yeah, so that's how his shit was. And then like he was an old man, he was getting old. Like,
Okay. Okay.
found Basquiat, they started collabing, and then like their collabs was like selling for like millions. Cause it was like you had this young fresh artist, this established artist getting this motherfucking all these galleries. And then like people respected Basquiat's work. So it was like once they got together, then it was like, oh shit, like,
Yeah.
we gotta do something with it. And then they had like a famous show called like Thriller in Manila.
Okay.
And they basically just it was like a boxing match. They just got kind of like bit off Muhammad,
Okay.
like Frazier and stuff like that. And that joint was a good show. It was a good show.
That's fire.
Yeah, it was
That's
like
fire.
some
That was Warhol and Basquiat.
Basquiat. Yeah.
Okay, that's fire. You said Basquiat. Basquiat is one of my names. Let me know something about him. That's another one of the names I got.
I don't want to say he went out like a chump,
Yeah.
but
Well, if you were to say that, why would you say that?
it's all right. So it was I feel like he had the right people around him, and he got a little ahead of himself.
Okay.
And by getting ahead of himself, it was the drugs.
Okay.
He did OD. I feel bad for that. But
How at what age was it?
I think it was like 26.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was young.
Wow.
Yeah, he's probably only famous for like 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Millions of dollars within those 4 years. Millions, bro. Dating like Marilyn Monroe. Not Marilyn, Madonna.
Madonna. That picture just popped up. I sent it over to Jazz. Yo.
Oh, yeah, she was on his heels.
I didn't think they was dating. They was
dating, bro. They was
wow.
dating,
I thought
bro.
they was just friends.
Nah, they was dating. He was pulling them all.
That's fire.
Yeah, he loved the white women.
Yeah,
Some weird shit. That weird shit. That's why
I didn't know that. But that's, I thought when I saw the picture, I said to Jazz, you know what? They friends. I didn't realize they were dating.
No, they was dating.
Okay.
And they say he put her on. Like he got her famous.
Yeah, because this is what early that picture. It said it was 82.
That's early 80s. Yeah.
Wow.
That was when he was still running with like Fab Five Freddy and all them. They all used to click. So they was all like a little like a collective back in the day and shit. Yeah.
Because he started with the graffiti.
Yep. Yeah.
Fire.
So like that shit was dope. And now back then like graffiti, hip hop, b-boy, that was all like one thing.
Yep.
So they was all in the same spot, on the same clubs,
Mm-hmm.
same parties, doing that shit. So yeah, just the folk he had around him, I feel like they was gassing him up. He probably wasn't listening to the right people, doing these drugs here and there,
Mm-hmm.
not giving a fuck. He OD'd. They say he OD'd. They say he died a little broke,
Mm-hmm.
but his what's it called? His estate was
Okay.
in the millions.
Wow.
His estate was in the millions, bro.
Yeah.
He was giving money away on the low too.
So are there still original pieces of his that are around? Like, are they
Oh yeah,
original
yeah.
pieces? Okay.
Yeah, they still around. They still circulating.
Okay.
They just a show of his just came to the Barnes probably like 4 or 3 years ago,
Okay.
and it was with the whole like it was like the Black Experience show,
Okay.
and that shit was lit. His shit's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his stuff is a little messy,
Mm-hmm.
but if you sit down and like like break it down, look at what he's trying to do, what he's trying to tell,
Mm-hmm.
it's some deep shit.
That's something that's what I know about him. I haven't had the opportunity to actually dive into what his work actually is,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that it's like a miscommunication between. It could be a miscommunication between the viewer and him. You know what I'm saying? But I know that at some point people begin to kind of like get it. I guess.
Yeah.
Kinda like
Even if you tend to get it, and because it'll be like I had seen work of his when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and then like you see he was famous for putting like cops in his shit and calling them pigs.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I might have seen one
like
of
you
those,
see
yeah.
them just like pigs, like
Yeah.
like slumlords and shit like that.
Yeah.
He was really like painting what he was seeing, but it wasn't in detail.
Mm-hmm.
He was really just painting what he was seeing just out of expression.
Mm-hmm.
You see a slumlord, you see some pigs, like
Mm-hmm.
and then like it's a black man, like in skeletons, because it's like they basically just killing and raping this nigga, like so it's stuff like that, and it's just like as simple as it looks. He made it that simple because he was expressing it, and his expression was quick.
Mm-hmm.
Expression is like some pieces it take time. You gotta blend, you gotta shade. His expression, he had time for shading, he had time for blending. He just wanted to get that shit out. So like it's interesting. I like that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like you kind of do miss that. It's called the masterpiece, the masters. He has masterpieces, but like it doesn't have like work that looks like the masters. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong. It's two different type of classes.
Mm-hmm.
But like
It's fire. It's fire.
it
Very
is. It
informative.
is. It is.
So no, I'm just saying. I'm saying your knowledge of how I'm able to like pull knowledge from you about these matters. That's dope. That's fire. So the last name I had for you is Banksy.
All right. So I think it's more than one.
Okay.
People, I'll be saying this shit all the time. It's a group of them motherfuckers, dog. Cause like my thing is like the whole shit that was going down in Syria.
Okay.
You couldn't tell me this motherfucker went to Syria, cause not this. I mean, he could have been I mean, I ain't trying to credit nobody bravery.
Yeah.
If he did it, he did it. That's lit.
Yeah.
If I had the opportunity, I probably would have did it too.
Yeah.
But it had popped off so fast.
What happened in Syria? What did he do in Syria?
So like it was like when it was doing all those bombings and shit.
Yeah.
It was like a building that had went down, and then it was like a picture of like a little girl like stacking the bricks back up.
Oh wow.
And it was like literally like 2 weeks later, after they had like a no-fly zone in Syria. So I'm like, oh nah, bro, it's more than one of these motherfuckers, and he just contracted niggas.
Okay.
And was like, yo, like you got the means.
Mm-hmm.
I like your style. You can mimic my work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a certain amount of money. You part of the collective now.
Mm-hmm.
You a Banksy.
Mm-hmm.
Put my shit up on that brick wall. That's how I feel, bro. I really do feel like that. I ain't going front. I really do feel that way.
I'm not really familiar with it, but other than like even just all three of those names that I just named to you are names that I've picked up from music. Obviously,
Yeah.
Jay-Z rapping about
from
art.
the culture and shit like
right.
that. Yeah.
So Banksy. I'm not really familiar. I'm a little bit more familiar with Basquiat and Warhol's stuff, but Banksy, I'm not too familiar with it. But I did, for some odd reason, I followed him at one point. I always go through these in and outs on social media, but on one of my older ones, I used to follow like his page, but I didn't. I wasn't really familiar with what was happening there. You follow me?
Yeah.
Other than that, it was a bunch of art on the
Right, yeah,
page.
this is a bunch of like, I mean, it's not bad. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's more like another social artist.
Okay.
Another social artist. He had a piece, right? That shit was an auction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much that shit sold for, but as soon as it sold, the frame was a paper shredder. And it dropped the painting through the shredder.
Hey,
And
yo.
that shit got shredded, bro. So it was as soon as the shit was like sold, the shit was like dee, it just turned on, and it was like
Oh no, yeah, no, he be.
So that's wilding, right? I get the point. You making a statement, but that's wild, bro. Like you a wild bull.
I gotta look him up because
Like,
if he doing stuff like that, the Syria, then he doing stuff like that.
yo,
I know he got some other wild stories.
so that's what I'm like. Nah, this a group, bro. This a collective. Like,
yeah.
this a collective because somebody had to be at the. They had to be at the auction.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it had to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Seen it get sold and hit a button. It wasn't on no timer.
Super calm.
That's what I'm. Yeah, just somebody just like.
That's
just looking at that shit like, yeah.
That's wild.
That's what. Yeah, he a wild bull. He be having some good shit.
Okay, so let me ask you, whether those are just the three that myself and Jazz were able to come up with. Are there any artists that are your favorite, or are there any up and comers? Anybody that you are impressed by other than yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a few. It's a up and coming. Oh yeah, it's a few.
Okay.
My homie Mir,
Okay.
New York, who I was just talking about.
Okay.
GQ, Washington Post.
Mm-hmm.
He do a lot of black art,
Mm-hmm.
but his art is like a lot of like spiritual base.
Mm.
So if it's like a retrograde going on,
Mm-hmm.
he got some art that mimic that, and it's like a black
fire.
woman in the tub, doing self care and shit.
That's fire.
And his shit is detailed, bro. It's detailed and it's all digital.
Mm-hmm.
My homegirl, DeJohn,
Mm-hmm.
she makes some fire ass masks. She like sculpting and stuff like that.
Okay.
And she make she make masks out of like weave.
Okay. What's her name?
DeJohn Reese.
Yes.
You probably know her.
Yeah, used to work, shout out to her. She used to work at
Barnes.
Family Dollar with me back in the day. Yes.
Okay. That's a squad.
yeah. When you said the mask out of weave, it hit you.
It hit you. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. You gotta say her style.
Yes.
And people know what it is.
Yes.
So she hot. She got some firework.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a professional out there. Well renowned.
Mm-hmm.
Alexis Walker.
I don't think I'm familiar, but I'll check it out.
Her stuff is like Jim Crow based, but it's like the modern Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll play off the stuff from the past and the present at the same time. And her stuff is like, she got like this one collection out. It's all in black and white, and it's all silhouettes. Mm-hmm. And the best way I can describe her shit is like that video. This is America.
Yes.
But everything, just visually, and it's wonderful shit, dog. It's bananas.
And the name is
Alexis Walker.
Okay. All right, got you. That's fire.
It was a photographer that was based in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his name, but I know his whole shit. He was his lifestyle was lit.
Mm-hmm.
He was very much an artist. Travel, photography, all that. He had started out doing fashion photography.
Okay.
For like one of them joints on like Fifth Ave or like the joint in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Then moved on from there and went to Chicago. Did fashion photography out there. Then was like in Paris doing all these photography and stuff like that. Then came back to Philly and just did street work. And this dude photography, like it's all fashion based. And he would do photography and he would paint. And it's all like like the pimps out there, like in the 70s, like hat on, shit like that. Yeah, right?
Maybe one of them.
Yeah, yo, bro. He got this one joint. It's like right on Broad. It's called Broad and Erie.
Okay.
Bull in a red hat. He like this. And it's like some fly shit, bro. Like you can tell, like straight out the 70s, fly shit.
Okay.
And like all his work like that. Mm-hmm. He was a dude that was like, he had a wife and shit. He was a wild boy. He had a wife and would have mistresses, and his mistresses would be other famous artists. So he would be writing them like love letters and shit, and they would get married and had this other thing. You gotta stop. He like, I ain't never gonna stop. And he was like, and he would have just had that relationship. And I'm like, yo, that's a wild ass bull, dog. That shit crazy.
That's too.
And like, yeah. So like, he had his whole wife left him, all that shit like that. Like she said, they said wife called him up. Was like, they said he had called his wife. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to come back from Paris. Mm-hmm. He had called her and was like, I'm going somewhere else. Mm-hmm. I'll be back in another 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And they said his wife was like, yo, when you get back, I ain't gonna be here. I'm taking me and the kids, we out. And he was just like, oh, all right, cool. They said that was in the conversation. I'm like, yo, this is a wild ass bull. Dang. Yeah, it's bull cold hearted.
I wanted to ask you about your music. I didn't know that you made beats. A few other things I want to talk to you about before we end here too, but talk to me about your interest there. How did that come about? And maybe even tell me some of your inspirations as far as music.
So Always played instruments, you know, band,
Okay.
all that shit at fucking Wood in that West.
Yeah, okay.
Always music. Same thing, man. Just got out of the military, came back home. I actually just missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like playing an instrument, like I really do miss that shit
Mm-hmm.
because it's fun. You can pick up an instrument, like hop on a jam session,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it's easy to get in, it's easy to get out.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't gotta think too much. I don't gotta I'm not a drummer, so I gotta put like a little metronome on
Mm-hmm.
to keep beat.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's like I'm just fucking around, just making shit.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I got into like making beats. Cause like, I had got into like, downloading shit illegally, not giving a fuck. So I ended up getting me Ableton when that shit came out.
Okay.
And I started fucking with that joint ever since. I ain't never stopped.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's dope.
But
maybe you could let me hear some of your stuff. Or maybe I could send you some of my stuff. We could collab.
Oh, we in there. Yeah, I got a SoundCloud and all that.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got
it. Right. Yeah, right. I do this shit. Yeah, I got a SoundCloud and all, bro.
I didn't know that. That's fire. Yeah. I gotta definitely tap in. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That's fire. This one is something that I found out. Shout out to one of my one of my old classmates. He's gonna be a guest here in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But I was, we're working on piecing together our episode, and I was just letting them know like some of the things I had upcoming, and I mentioned your name, and he told me that you played baseball with him.
Oh yeah.
So Kev, you familiar with Kev Williams?
Kev Williams.
Yeah, that's my man. So he wanted me to let you know he had nothing but great things to say about you. But he wanted me to tell you what's up.
Likewise.
Yeah, he wanted me to tell you what's up. But talk to me about that. About you play some baseball. Like, what was that about?
Shout out to Kev.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. What's that shit called? Hazing.
Okay.
Kev took it serious.
Kev
took it serious. 2 years older than me. Tell say 2 years older than me. Kev took it serious. Kev don't talk about.
What grade we talking about?
I was in 10th. He was in 12th. So Kev don't talk about. He took it serious, like a heart attack.
Hazy. What position you play?
So when I got to the high, I was catcher.
Okay.
But I was a little chunky kid, couldn't move that fast.
Okay.
So they put me on first base.
Listen, I know you for a while. You talking about you as a chunky kid. I know you for a while.
Bruh.
I don't remember that. I remember you. I don't know why the way I see you right now is how I think you always been.
That's how it is. I disappeared and came back. When I came back, I was this frame.
Okay.
But when I left, chunkster.
Okay.
Chunkster.
Right, cool. So you played catcher.
Played first base.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a good time.
Yeah.
First 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade was okay.
Yeah.
But those first 2 years, them shits was lit.
Yeah. So you only played it there in high school?
Oh, I played all my life. So I played Derby Little League.
Okay.
Played at West and shit like that.
Yeah.
Had my uncle had took me to the tournament in New York one time.
Okay.
That shit was lit.
Yeah.
So
that's dope.
Yeah,
when he mentioned it to me, that's pretty. I thought that was fire because I think baseball is a sport. I mean, especially if you're talking about Derby Little League. Derby Little League has been around. And one thing I say about Derby Little League that pretty much everybody played, and if they weren't playing, they wanted to play.
Yo. It was that in common comments, dog.
Yes. Yes.
They had a chokehold on us, man.
So when I found that out, I thought that was pretty dope because, like I said, we do a lot of like sports featured athlete featured Jones. So to find out that you had a sports background, that was dope too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I got for you, man. Anything we didn't touch, any shout outs, any questions for me, anything, man. What you got?
Shit, I don't know. Shout out the squad, shout out God, shout out the fam. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming through, man. This was a great episode. This was a great episode, man.
Yeah, it's good to talk.
Very, very informative. Very inspirational. And I'm glad that we got the opportunity to do it, man. Thank you again. Maybe we'll have the opportunity to sit down again, do a follow-up joint in the future. That's one thing I'll say. I've never said this on air, but I'll share with you. Whenever I do a sit down or a feature with somebody on my show, I consider them YBG alum. So you're alumni now. So if you ever whenever you want to return,
we in there.
The door is open, man.
I like that. Yeah.
You feel me? So thank you again, man. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. OCK the Wizard.
Underrated lady.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah. Young, black, and gifted, we do it for the culture. Every podcast we help bring our people closer. Tired of being underrated, you can ask Jazz. This beat got horsepower like it's polo on the tag. Aquan, let them know it's every Tuesday and Friday. He said it wasn't possible like Twista and Kanye. Renegon, I've been seen it happen like Sasuke. Love is stronger than pride and it's the close to the side A. 12 midnight, I'm still smoking in the driveway. This ain't for the kids, go to Chucky for the child's play. We all gon' burn like Pompeii. Until then, you should grab your seat and come and tune in. What?